My dad, my title of my video may not be exactly like this, but my dad counting money out in the open. You're hearing me right. I bet CNN don't tell you that. What am I talking about? You know, all the tragedy about that poor girl out there in Iowa, Molly Tibbetts. What CNN does not tell you in depth, deep, you've heard CNN talk about, it's isolated. It's rural. I can't even pronounce the word rural. R-U-R-A-L. It's isolated. But CNN does not tell you much. That's all they tell you. It's isolated. In case you've never been out there in the Midwest, Iowa, you know, we drove through it in 1978, headed to Wyoming. Beautiful country out there. But it's so isolated, so isolated. Now, back then, Dad did not believe in credit cards. His excuse, just another way to get you in debt. So we carried cash. Mom carried the money because she had a big purse. Obviously, Dad's billfold wasn't big enough. So we was driving down. We might have been in Iowa, or we might have been in another state past that. But we was in the Midwest. We hadn't seen a car in 10 hours. Been about, we drove all day long, and we seen one car. I think it was 10 hours. Because we left the motel room about 7. When you're on vacation like that, you always wake up early. And this has been, let me think here. Not hardly 10. This probably is about 4. So let's say it's 6. Probably about 9 hours. It was still daylight. Sun was up. But my dad told my mom, since she was holding the majority of the money, get the money out of your purse and count it. I guess about $2,000. Now, we hadn't stopped. We were still driving. Now, here's an idea how isolated. Here's what CNN or Fox News or your favorite news station, news network, here's what they do not tell you. I guess they're not allowed to. I don't know, but we was driving along. And when you count money, you got to put your hands together to count money. So Dad kept driving, and Mom handed him a bunch of money. And he put his hands in the middle of the steering wheel and started counting money. So, in other words, if you've been driving a car and you've been coming at us to pass us, you'd seen my dad count. Sorry, I'm drinking a Coke a little too quick. If you drove past us, you'd seen my dad counting money. Up in the windshield, you know, his hands in the middle of the steering wheel. Up in the windshield, he's counting money. That's how isolated it is out there in Iowa. You don't have to worry about it. You can count money in the open. We hadn't seen a car we passed one car all day long. And it's so open out there, there's no hills. You can see for miles. That's what the news does not tell you, how isolated. So if you would go out there, if you would leave today and go out to Iowa, you would be surprised. You might be a little aggravated. Hey, why didn't CNN News tell me about this? They need to go in depth and deep when they report the news. It's more isolated than what they tell you. It's a creepiness to it. You know, even my dad says, you know, you see the farmhouses, the driveway's a mile long. If you would break down, you wouldn't want to walk up. It's like you're trapped. You get on their driveway and you walk what looks like a mile-long driveway up to the farmhouse. And if you had to walk that driveway, then you're surrounded by 10-foot tall corn on both sides of you. When you make it up to the farmhouse, and you knock on that door, you don't know who lives there. It could have been a killer that's never been caught. You don't know who's going to answer that door. It's scary. It's creepy. Oh, it's a beautiful state. It's a very, very nice state. But if you think it's isolated here in Ohio, parts of it is. Iowa's 10 times more isolated. And I mean, it's all through there. It's the Midwest, Iowa, Missouri, South Dakota. Oh my God! It just. And then we was out in, I think it was South Dakota, and my dad was counting money again at the steering wheel, and we hadn't seen a car. I think that night before, we slept out in the van. Either we trying to save some money. I'm trying to remember, or we could not find. Sorry for the noise. We could not find a motel room. I believe that's what it was. But Dad was counting money because he got a little bit of habit of it. It's isolated. One car in 10 hours. And we happened to be going around this curve as Dad was counting money, and a car passed us. Surprised us. That was creepy. Yeah. I'm not making. We had our CB, back then CB craze was huge. We had our CB radio on. That car that passed us had a CB radio on too. He said, "You guys in that van," we thought we was gonna get robbed. I've never seen Dad drive that van 90 miles an hour, nearly 100, but he did. Scared the hell out of us. We tried to get past him, and my dad didn't say. They actually asked us. Whoever had got us on the radio actually asked us, "Who's in the van with you?" Oh, scared the shit out of us. Thank God my dad was quick thinking and says, "Well, it's me and my brothers." He didn't say wife and 2 kids, which that's what we was. I was 15 years old, but technically still a kid to my dad and mom. And it happened fast. Thank God my dad thought real quick, and he said, "Me and my brothers were headed to the next area. I forget the name of the town." He said, "Me and my brothers." I think he saved us from being robbed. Of course, it was 1978, and that'd be, it would probably not. The world was much more gentle back then, but still. When somebody gets you on the radio, comes around a curve, and you're counting money, "Hey, you in that van there." And it really happened. I'm not making that up. They really got us on the radio. I'm not making that up. Scared us to death. And Dad kept telling me after he got off the radio, Dad kept telling me to keep looking back to make sure they're not trying to gain on us. They're to rob us. But we got about 10 miles ahead of them, and nothing happened. And I realized, I think it was South Dakota that happened. Yeah, that really happened to us. But back to Iowa and the Midwest. Oh, you can count money out there in the open. That's how isolated it is. That's what CNN or Fox News does not tell you.